Welcome back with a smiley face. A link is provided in the video description for previous episodes. Giving up on the Alpha. Episode 7. Chapter 65. Axel POV anything. I mind link Adele as I restlessly pace up and down in the gymnasium 2 blocks away from the park. It is 5 minutes before noon, and she is waiting in the park as instructed by Wilson. My men and I are ready to move as soon as he shows his face. But we cannot risk hanging around and tipping off Wilson. Not yet, she replies, and I grind my teeth. I am itching to get answers from Wilson and put this business to bed. Here he comes, Adele mind links. Keep your head down and the link open, I reply urgently. We're on our way. I mind link my men and together we run to the park. We ensure to stay downwind and out of sight as we surround the park and take our positions. Hello Lyanna, we listen to Wilson through the open mind link. I'm glad to see you followed my orders and come alone. Don't reply, I order Adele as I take cover behind Wilson's back. We're here and ready. I watch as Adele pulls the cap lower over her face and keeps her eyes on her feet. Wilson is standing in front of her with his hands on his hips, looking down at her. Leon is right about you, Wilson chuckles. I thought he was only full of it, but he was right. With enough pressure, you'll agree to anything. Including keeping your mouth shut. His words infuriate me, and I take a deep breath to control my wolf. Running towards him and ripping him apart would be so easy. You know, Wilson takes a seat next to Adele. I'm kind of disappointed that you're cooperating. I didn't expect it and I was looking forward to seeing Nina again. She's a generous lover and, what? Wilson jumps up and feverishly looks around. Who are you? He growls. Well, I'm obviously not this Lyanna person you're looking for, Adele replies sweetly as she looks up at him and I quietly walk towards them. And you have a creepy way of starting a conversation with strangers. I'm sorry, Wilson stutters flabbergasted. I was supposed to meet Lyanna and you look a lot like her. It's a simple misunderstanding. Is it? I ask brusquely and Wilson swings around to face me. For a moment, he only stares at me before he bursts out laughing. I knew it, he throws his hands up in the air and takes a seat next to Adele. I knew it and I told them, but they didn't believe me, he continues with big hand gestures and movements while he keeps his eyes on me. I told them she only looks so obedient and submissive but she's not. Congratulations for calling it, I snort as I follow his hands. I do not trust him for a second. Now, no, he shakes his head. You don't get it, Alpha. I told them. His laughter dies down and Adele gasps when he pulls out a gun from behind his back and presses it to her side. Leon called me an idiot when I picked out this gun. Seems I know his sister better than he does. Sir, Adele mind links me. I can take him. No, not yet, I order urgently. The park is crawling with children. I'll tell you when to move. If you knew you were right, why did you go through with this? I snarl as I mind link my men to start evacuating the park and be on the lookout for Wilson's accomplices. There's no way out, but you already know that, don't you? I don't expect you to understand, he snorts as he clicks off the gun's safety. What does an alpha know about taking orders? More than you think, I reply calmly as I keep my eyes on his gun. If Wilson is taking orders, somebody else is in charge. He has referred to Leon and them and it sounds awfully a lot that Leon is in charge. Which is impossible and does not make sense at all. People tell me how to do my job all the time. So not the same thing, Wilson rolls his eyes and I swallow hard as he cocks the gun. Adele, I mind link her. Get ready to move. Educate me then, I say quickly as I watch my men silently evacuate the park behind Wilson. Tell me what you're hoping to achieve. You said it yourself, you knew Lyanna wasn't coming with the money. Even if you manage to get away now, you know I'm going to hunt you. It's over for you. But you're not in charge. Tell me on whose orders you're doing this, and we can make a deal. Typical alpha, Wilson snorts. You demand loyalty, but you don't have an idea what it means. But you're right about one thing, this is over for me. No. I yell and jump forward when Wilson lifts the gun. Adele jumps into action and reaches for the gun, but Wilson is faster. The gun is already pointed at his temple when the loud shot rips through the air and he falls sideways. People start screaming and running wild in all directions as I kneel next to him. I have a pulse, I shout as I pull off my shirt to cover his wound. Call an ambulance and start CPR. Is it just me, or is this weird? Adele frowns as she starts compressions. It's not just you, I shake my head. Going through all this trouble just to kill yourself, doesn't make sense. Alpha, what can I do to help? A guard, Albert, asks as he joins us. Search his pockets, I order brusquely as I try my best to stop the bleeding. Nobody says a word as we wait for the ambulance, but the tension is tangible as we try to keep Wilson alive. Sir, look at this, Albert holds out a letter. It's a medical directive. He's an organ donor and is making a direct donation to Stacy Brooks. Here, I hand Albert my phone as the ambulance's siren gets louder. Take photos of it and put it back where you found it. This explains a lot, Adele mumbles. It also changes everything, I agree. Albert, stay with him and keep me updated, I order him as the paramedics take over from me and Adele. Does the directive mention what he's donating? Adele asks softly as we move out of earshot of the paramedics. His heart, I grunt as I look at the blood on my hands. I'm going to clean up, I say as I walk to the public restrooms. Alpha, Mike mind links me. There's a breach at the south border of your premises. Get them, damn it, I link back urgently and dry my hand as my phone starts ringing. We prepared for that. Stanley, I answer the phone brusquely as an ominous feeling settles in my gut. Stanley has been staying in the trailer park keeping an eye on Lyanna's parents. The fact that he is calling now while all of this is happening does not predict anything good. Alpha, I'm sorry, Stanley sounds nervous. 5 men came, and I tried, but I failed. They killed Leon. The parents? I ask urgently. They're traumatized, but unharmed, he reports and relief rushes through me. I am not going to lie, I do not give a rat's ass about Leon. It is his debt after all, but his parents are innocent, and Lyanna will lose it if something happens to them. The old man is not about to have a heart attack. I ask concerned when I remember about his condition. I don't think so, sir, Stanley replies. Get them to a hospital or clinic and have them checked out, I order. If they want to contact the police, let them. I'll send a team over to remove all traces which could lead to our pack. Adele, I call her over and wait until she is standing in front of me before I continue. Get a team and go to Wilson's house. Search every inch of every corner. I want answers. Yes, Alpha, she nods and runs off. With long strides, I walk to my SUV which is parked at the gym while phoning David. I relax a little when he informs me that the girls are safe and that there is no suspicious activity around the house. Lastly, I send a crew to the trailer park. There should not be so much as a wolf's hair when the local police get there. We will apprehend Leon's murderers ourselves, but I cannot afford for law enforcement to come and sniff around here for answers. My mind is restless as I drive home. Wilson had the directive on him, which could only mean that he planned to die today. But on his terms there would be no organs to donate if I ripped him to shreds. Catching Wilson was supposed to bring answers, not more questions. And I have a bad feeling. A simple exchange turned into a murder, a suicide, and an attack. There is something we are missing. I am not surprised when I see smoke as I near my grounds. Even though most of the gasoline was burned out yesterday, the attackers would not have known, and they would have used an accelerant to start the fire as quickly and viciously as possible. Something was bound to take fire. Nick, I mind link him as I drive to the south border. Update on my parents. They're fine, he replies. Nobody even attempted to get to the mansion. I exhale in relief as I park and get out of the car. Alpha, Mike runs towards me. We caught all 4 of them, but they don't know shit. Their stories are pretty much a repeat of yesterday. The only difference is they were supposed to kidnap Nina. And they all report to Wilson. Son of a bitch, I growl frustrated. Another dead end. Everything points to Wilson, but he is not in charge. Lock them up, I bark at Mike as I get back into my car. They can stay there until I figure out what's going on. Lyanna POV, this is torture, I grunt as I jump out of my chair and start pacing on the deck. It's only been 10 minutes, Nina snorts and raises her face to the sun. She stretches out on the deck chair into a more comfortable position. The exchange will take more than 10 minutes. So, sit down and enjoy the sunshine. It's not like you can do anything else. Why aren't you stressed out? I practically yell as I take a seat next to her, but my leg cannot stop bobbing up and down. I mean, Wilson is after you too. Yeah, but we're safe here, she shrugs nonchalantly. Stressing about it is not going to change it. Look, there's nothing we can do but sit here and wait. The way you wait is your choice. I chose not to pace and chomp down on my fingernails. Easy for you to say, I roll my eyes. You're not worried about the safety of the love of your life. You should have a little faith, Nina sighs. You should hear how much awe and respect David has for him. And the things he told me about Axel. That man is indestructible. You have nothing to worry about. You're missing. Hello, ladies. David walks in and I immediately go quiet. The very last thing I need is for David to report back to Axel about my feelings. Axel just called, it's over. It is. I jump up and walk over to David. And everybody is fine? No one got hurt. None of the guards or Axel were hurt, he says compassionately. You can relax now. Oh, good, I sigh relieved and hug him tightly. Thank you. Pack your bags, ladies, he smiles and pulls away awkwardly. We're going home. So soon? Nina pouts from the chair. I was enjoying our little vacation. We're leaving in an hour, David looks at her longingly and I take a step back to observe them. The connection between them is tangible. No wonder Nina does not want to go back. She wants more time with David. The loud ringing of my phone splinters the moment and I eagerly reach for it. Disappointment fills my gut when it is not Axel's name on the screen. Ah, damn it, I grunt and decline the call. It's my mother. I want to shove it back into my pocket, but it starts ringing again. You should answer, Nina says as she stands up and David walks away. It could be about your dad. No, I shake my head. I spoke with him this morning and he's just fine. Mommy dearest just wants money again. She keeps on calling, Lyanna. Nina looks at the ringing phone in my hand. You're going to hate yourself if this is not about money and you didn't answer. You're right, I sigh heavily as I answer the phone. Mother, calm down, I say urgently as her hysterical cries threaten to burst my eardrums. Crying isn't words and I have no idea what you're trying to say. Is Dad okay? He's dead, she sobs, and my legs go numb. The blood drains from my face as I take a seat in the closest chair. Daddy's dead. I murmur in disbelief. It does not make sense. He sounded perfectly fine this morning. Leon, she stutters. Mom, please, I beg on the verge of panic. Who's dead? Leon, she cries. Your brother was killed. Murdered, right in front of us. I'm coming home, I say quickly before I end the call with trembling fingers. What's wrong? Nina asks urgently as she kneels by me and takes my hand in hers. Who died? Leon, I whisper. Leon's dead. What happened? Nina gasps in shock. I don't know, I stutter as I pull my hands free and stand up. I need a minute. I walk blindly towards the lake as my mind jumps from one thought to another. I am not a moron. This is not a coincidence. Wilson collecting money from me and Leon dying at the same time is no coincidence. And I hate to think that I am responsible for his death. If I just played along with Wilson and gave him the money, Leon could have been still alive. Leon and I might not have gotten along, but that does not mean I wanted him dead. No, I shake my head. This cannot possibly be my fault. Wilson cannot be at two places at once. He was at the park meeting me, or rather the fake me, Adele, and somebody else killed Leon. What did Leon get himself into? Axel POV. Impatiently I watch David parks in front of Lyanna's cottage. It feels like an eternity since I have last seen her, and what could have been a happy reunion is now going to be a messed up affair because I have the dreadful obligation of telling her about Leon's passing. But the second Lyanna gets out of the car, I can tell she knows. Her eyes and nose are all puffy and red. She only glances in my direction before she thanks David and walks to her cottage. How much does she know? I ask David softly as I watch Lyanna disappears inside. Her mother called, he replies. She only knows her brother has been murdered. I grunt as I push my fingers through my hair. I should have known her mother would have called. But with everything that has been going on, it slipped my mind. Keep security on Nina, I order. Until we know exactly what's going on, I'm not assuming anybody's safe. No problem, David nods as he gets back into the car, and I walk to Lyanna's cottage. Silently I walk to her room and stand at the door as I watch her pack her bags. I want to take her in my arms and kiss the pain away, but after the way we left things, I have no idea if I am the person she wants around. Lyanna, I say softly. It's Wilson, isn't it? She continues packing without even looking my way. He's responsible for Leon's death. I think so, yes, I confirm. But it doesn't make sense, she shouts as she looks at me with blazing eyes. How could he meet Adele at the park and kill Leon at the same time? Did he even come? Where is he? I want to talk to him. Lyanna, I sigh as I walk to her and take her hands in mine. We should talk. We are talking, she frowns, but a moment later her eyes widen and looks at me with disgust. Wilson's dead, isn't he? He had a gun and, you killed him, she cuts me off yelling. And now, I didn't kill him, I defend myself loudly, and she takes a step back. I close my eyes and take a deep breath to calm myself. I should have known that would be her conclusion. After all, I am a monster in her eyes. Then what happened? She starts crying and goes to sit down on her bed. How did things get? Wilson shot himself, I explain patiently as I sit down next to her and tell her everything that transpired. He's been declared brain dead, and his heart will go to Stacy. Stacy. Lyanna's blue eyes are large, and her face is awfully pale when she looks at me. His mate. We don't know yet, I put my arms around her shoulders, and I am relieved that she allows me to. We're still investigating. I know it's her, Lyanna whispers as she nestles closer to me, and I wrap my arms around her waist. He died for his mate. That poor girl. What do you mean? I look at her curiously. He sacrificed himself so she could live. Lyanna stands up and resumes packing. She is going to spend the rest of her days without her mate, and she will be conflicted about it. On the one hand, she is going to love and adore him for his sacrifice. On the other hand, she is going to hate him for making her live without him. It sounds like you know her, I frown. No, Axel, she sighs as she zips her suitcase closed. I've seen her once. But that is exactly how I would feel if somebody did that for me. I don't know if you're right, I murmur after a moment of thought. But I do know I would have done exactly the same as Wilson if it meant keeping my mate alive. So would I, she looks at me with her soulful eyes. Guess it's a good thing we don't have mates. You do have a mate, I say softly as I get up and go to stand in front of her. It is time that I tell her about us. This has been going on for far too long. I kept it a secret to give her time to get over Wilson. To give us time to grow closer and bond, but lately, it feels like we are drifting further and further away from each other. Lyanna, your mate was, she interrupts sharply. Wyatt was my mate. And he didn't love me enough to sleep with me, let alone give me his heart, literally or figuratively speaking. I'm not talking, oh, dear goddess, she whispers, and I did not know that she could possibly turn paler than she already is. Wyatt. It's him. He's behind all of this. Why would you say that? I grunt, frustrated because she killed my almost confession with rational thinking. You said it yourself, Wilson's not in charge, she says early while she rubs her forehead as she is thinking. And he admitted Wyatt's involved. It has to be him. That's a wild assumption, I frown. Wyatt could be just another pawn like Wilson. Sure, maybe, she throws her hands up in the air. But at the very least, he'll be able to answer questions or tell you who is calling the shots. Lyanna, I stand up and rest my hands on her shoulders. We need to talk. About us. And we will, she smiles weakly. But not now. I need to go home, Axel. My parents need me now. Okay, I nod after a moment and let go of her. Lyanna POV, I exhale in relief when Axel's hands drop off my shoulders. I am not ready to tell him about the baby or to break up with him. I do not care if it is for the best. I am selfish and want him a little longer by my side. And I could tell that he had something serious to say. It was in the tension of his shoulders and the twitching muscle in his jaw. Nope, I am not ready, and if I have to shamelessly use my parents to postpone the inevitable, I will. It's only going to be a day or two, I say apologetically to break the awkwardness that crept in between us. I need to know they're okay. Take all the time you need, he smiles empathetically. This is not going to be easy for them. The loud growl of my stomach interrupts me rudely and a blush creeps up my neck and cheeks. Lyanna, have you eaten today? Axel asks as he crosses his arms and looks at me sternly. Yes, I reply quickly as I push past him and walk to the kitchen. I had breakfast, but then shit hit the fan and I forgot about lunch. Was Michelle not clear enough? His angry voice follows me. Do you want to end up in hospital? Cut the crap, Axel, I snap as I open the fridge. I didn't do it on purpose. Who has an appetite when their brother dies? Tell me you're not going to have a sandwich. He looks with disgust at the ingredients that I have taken out. Yes, I am, I roll my eyes at him as I take out slices of bread. Do you want? That's not enough, he protests. You need proper food. Vegetables and meat and I don't have time for that now, I interrupt him. Besides, ham and tomato cover the categories. Always a clever answer, and in the meantime, you're about to fall through your own ass, he grunts as he opens the freezer. Where's your steak? He turns to me with a frown. I don't have steak, I shrug as I butter the bread. It's a luxury I cannot afford. Are you implying that I don't pay you enough? He growls. Damn it, Axel, I lose my temper and throw him with a tomato. It hits him solid on the chest and bursts open, staining his perfectly white shirt. He goes eerily quiet and stares at the stain before he slowly looks up at me. I bite hard onto my bottom lip to stop myself from smiling, but I give up the fight and burst out laughing. I'm sorry, I laugh as I wet a dish towel and turn to him. No, I'm not sorry, I cannot stop the laughter as I clumsily wipe the stain on his shirt. You asked for it. There's nothing wrong with my salary, but I stick to a budget and that doesn't include steak. So, you didn't lose weight because you didn't have money for food? He asks cautiously, and a fresh wave of laughter bursts over my lips. What's so funny? He demands brusquely. Is it wrong that I care? You're adorable, I stand on my toes and quickly kiss him on his lips. Axel, cooking for one is a schlep, okay? And I didn't grow up on steak. It's not normal for me. He looks at me long and intensely before he takes out his phone and walks away. I exhale deeply and shake my head as I clean up the tomato. He really is not in a good mood. Put that away, Axel says as he enters the kitchen again. I've arranged with Maddie for food. It will be delivered soon. Let me guess, steak. I snort as I put back the ham and cheese. And vegetables, he confirms. Plenty of it. I take out the Nutella and a spoon and take a seat at the counter as I watch him take off his shirt. My eyes feast over his chiseled chest as I dip the spoon into the jar. I love his body, I sigh inwardly as the sweetness of the Nutella hits my taste buds. The muscles on his back ripple smoothly as he rinses out his shirt and I shift uncomfortably on my chair. Is it wrong that I am aroused instead of grieving? Leon and I were never close and honestly, I am sorrier for my parents and their loss than for myself. Leon was never kind or even brotherly towards me. I have not lost a brother. I have lost a burden. But Axel, he has been nothing but supportive and caring. There, Axel shakes out his shirt and hangs it over the chair. It should be dry in a couple of minutes. I do not say a word as I get off my chair and walk to him. What now? He frowns when I stand in front of him. Nothing, I murmur as I stick my finger into the jar and scoop out a chunk. What are you doing? He hisses as I smear the Nutella over his nipples and as answer, I slowly lick the sweetness from his chest. He groans low and deep when I add more Nutella and continue removing it with my mouth. Swiftly, he takes the jar from my hands, picks me up by the hips and puts me down on the counter. His lips come crashing down hard and mercilessly on mine. Overcome with desire, I wrap my legs around his waist and push closer to him. I eagerly caress his chest where my lips were a moment ago and his fingers curl into my hair as his tongue demands entrance. Our breathing is rapid and shallow when he pulls away long enough to get rid of my shirt and bra. His palms are warm and hungry on my naked skin, and I revel in his touch as our kiss turns greedy. Gently he pushes me backwards until my back is on the cold counter. Our eyes lock as he undoes my jeans and strips them down until I am naked. He picks up the jar and I shiver involuntarily as he traces a finger with Nutella over my breasts down to my navel. I gasp for air when he leans forward, and his tongue and lips follow the path his finger has drawn. The kitchen fills with my moans as he licks and kisses me. He picks up my legs and I wrap them around his neck as he continues moving lower. Yes, I moan when his mouth finally reaches its destination between my legs. My fingers cramp into his hair and I open my legs wider as he caresses my clitoris. Everything fades away until I am only aware of him and the havoc he is creating between my legs. Axel, I pant, and I tighten my grip on his air as my muscles tighten. Stop, I beg as I fight my orgasm. What's wrong? His voice is hoarse and warm against my skin. Nothing, I struggle upright and reach for his pants. I just want you to join me. He claims my lips feverishly as he undoes his pants and drops them to the floor. His fingers dig into my hips to pull me closer to the edge of the counter. His green eyes bore into mine as he tediously slowly enters me and my eyes flutter close when he completely fills me. With a content sigh, I wrap my arms around his neck and my legs around his waist. The fulfillment of him inside me is overwhelming and I whimper in delight as he shoves into me. I am so incredibly close to release, and I know I cannot hold on much longer. My muscles pull tighter, and my breathing becomes heavier with every thrust. Desperate for him to join me at this height, I suck on his mark and his growl echoes loudly through the kitchen. He increases his rhythm and I scream out my ecstasy when my orgasm waves over me at the same time as he jerks against me. Breathlessly we cling to each other until our jagged breathing is the only sound in the kitchen. Dessert before the entree, he grins as he slightly pulls away to kiss me. I can get used to it. This wasn't dessert, I playfully make my eyes big at him. This was the appetizer. You mean there's more? He raises his eyebrows. Only if you're up for it, I shrug nonchalantly. Dessert is for those who finish their meals, he chuckles as he kisses me on the tip of my nose. You need to put clothes on, our food will be here any minute. Yes, Alpha, I snort as I scoot off the counter and reach for my underwear. Lyanna, he reaches for my hand. Are you okay? Yeah, I look at him flabbergasted. Why wouldn't I be? Leon, he says the word softly as if he is afraid that he might disturb the light-hearted atmosphere. I do not answer him as I put on my clothes and take a seat. Axel looks at me and sighs before he reaches for his pants. I guess I'm a terrible sister, I say softly after a while. I didn't want him dead or hurt, but I'm relieved in a sense. It's liberating to know that nobody will knock on my door again because he owes money. I know it sounds selfish and horrible, but the only memories I have of him are ones of him wanting money. You're not a terrible sister, Axel takes a seat next to me. He was a terrible brother. Regardless, I shrug. It doesn't matter what he did, he was my brother and don't you dare, he cuts me off and takes my hands into his. Don't you dare feel guilty. Leon was going to die whether you paid or not. I promise you I will find whoever is responsible. I know, I smile weakly as I rest my head against his shoulder. But I cannot shake the thought that things could have been different if I paid. There are always what-ifs and maybes. Axel kisses me on the top of my head. Just be careful that it doesn't cloud the facts. Thank you, I sigh as I close my eyes and hug him. For everything. Lyanna POV. I am laying snugly in Axel's arms as I stare out of the window. The grey clouds and soft rain reflect my mood perfectly. I am in complete turmoil about seeing my parents. Especially mother. Leon was her favorite and perfect child. She is going to be inconsolable. Are you sure I can't come? Axel murmurs as he kisses me on my neck, and I turn around to face him. Yes, I cup his face and kiss him softly. There's nothing you can do, and you're needed here. I can come as support, he catches my bottom lip between his teeth, and I kiss him eagerly. You're always supporting me, I smile as I pull away. But your pack needs you more. Do you have to go so early? He complains as I get out of bed. Yes, I reply over my shoulder as I walk to the shower. You already convinced me to leave today and not yesterday. I cannot postpone this any longer. Only if I can join you in the shower, he shouts after me. Then hurry up, I laugh and open the taps. The bus is overcrowded and stuffy. For a split second, I regret declining Axel's offer that Drew drives me. But I had an appointment with Michelle and there is no way he will not report that to Axel. Michelle just confirmed what we both already knew: I am pregnant. I bite hard on my quivering lip as my eyes fill with tears and I place my hand on my abdomen. I am still uncertain if I should keep it. My heart says yes, but my mind says no. The bus approaches my stop and I quickly wipe the tears off my face before gathering my things. At least it has stopped raining for now. That is one of the reasons I loathed living in a trailer. On rainy days everything is damp and muddy. My mind is trying to find the right words for my parents as I walk from the bus stop. But my words fail me. What do you say to grieving parents? And I know my mother, she is going to take it out on me. All her grief and anger will be directed at me like missiles through hurtful words. Without knocking, I enter my childhood home and place my things at the door. Mom is sitting on the couch staring into the abyss. Silently I walk to the kitchen and pack away the groceries I bought for them. I made an effort and bought everything they like. Even chocolate cupcakes that Dad enjoys so much. Hello Mom, I say softly and take a seat next to her. I saw everything, she takes my hand tightly into hers. And now I cannot sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see them slicing his throat. Mom, I swallow hard and close my eyes for a second. Didn't the doctor give you something to help with that? He did, she snorts. But it doesn't help. I will never forget. Maybe you should talk to someone, I suggest softly. I will, no. She says sharply. I want to remember. When the police catch them, my mind must be clear to testify. I want the bastards to burn for what they've done. Mom, what happened yesterday? I finally mastered to ask the dreadful question. They knocked on the door and Leon stepped outside to talk to them, her voice is a lifeless monotone. I was watching my favorite telenovela and I didn't want them to bother me. After a while, I heard them arguing and I walked outside to shut them up, but we have a new neighbor. His name is Stanley. He was fighting 3 men while another was holding Leon. One of them pulled out a knife and cut his throat. There was so much blood, Lyanna. More than I have ever seen. I started screaming and they ran away, leaving Leon there in the dirt choking on his own blood. Your father was outside and ran to help. I couldn't move. I just stood there screaming and screaming. Oh, Mom, I sniff as I throw my arms around her shoulders. I'm so sorry. Stanley called 911 and took us to a hospital, she continues as if I am not there. Leon was gone when we came back. All that was left, were blood. But Stanley cleaned it up. He's a good man. Mom, I need fresh air, she stands up and leaves me alone on the couch. I bury my face in my hands as sobs tear through my body. I have never seen my mother like this. She is functioning but it is like she is not here at all. There is no emotion. I was expecting hysterics and blame, not this emptiness. After a moment, I pull myself together and wipe away the tears. I need to find Dad. I am worried about him and his heart. Mother is in such a state, she will not notice if something is wrong with him. Dad. I call and walk to their bedroom, but he is not there. Slowly I walk to Leon's room. I inhale deeply and steel myself for what is waiting on the other side of the door. I did not plan to go into his room, and I do not know if I am ready. Dad is sitting on Leon's bed with his elbows resting on his knees and his fingers intertwined. His head is hanging low on his chest, and I can hear him sniffling softly. Dad. My voice is hoarse, and my heart is breaking for him. He is such a loving father, he should not have to go through such a thing. When he hears my voice, he sits up straight and wipes over his face. Quietly I walk closer, but I stop dead in my tracks when he looks up at me. His always tender eyes are blazing with unblemished anger. Of all the times you could have refused, you chose this time, he hisses at me. Dad, I heard everything, he bellows as he jumps up and glares at me. When they attacked Leon, I heard every word. Why didn't you pay, Lyanna? Why? You could have prevented this. That's not true, I defend myself hastily. They would have killed him either way. Liar. He snaps and I take a step backwards. Never in my life have I seen my father this angry. It is so unexpected that my mind and body cease. Dumbstruck I stare at him. Why are you even here? He continues mercilessly. To rejoice that you're free of him? That you're off the hook for providing for him? Dad, no, I start crying as I wreck my mind for words to calm him down. I'm here to help. We don't need your help. He shouts. When you should have helped you turned your back and now my son is dead. You've done enough. Leave my house. Dad, please, I sob. You're not being fair. Don't talk to me about fair, he yells. Burying my son isn't fair. I'm not responsible, I try again. I tried, Dad. I really did. You have no idea all the things I've done to help. It's not enough. He bellows. You should have done more. You failed your brother, and you failed me. He storms out of the room, and I slump onto the bed as tears stream over my face. Each of Dad's words was like a punch in the gut. He always saw my side. I could always count on him to understand and support me. Never in my wildest dreams did I expect him to blame me. Mother, yes, but not him. His attitude toward me is worse than losing a brother. Even in death, Leon succeeded at taking something from me. I feel empty and lost by the time I get off the bed. I am too scared to walk out of the room and face Dad. I do not know if I can handle another word lashing. But staying here is out of the question. The room is filled with accusations, and it is smothering me. With dragging feet and a bouncing heart, I walk to the TV room. Mom is sitting in front of the television, but I can tell that she is not watching. I relax a little when I do not see Dad anywhere. Mom, I say hesitantly as I take a seat next to her. I'll arrange the funeral, okay? Why? She turns to me. Because he was my brother, I reply flabbergasted. And I want to help. Just send money if you want, she turns back to the television. We don't need your help. Mom, please, I beg urgently. Don't what, Lyanna? Her eyes are dead and dull when she looks at me. You got what you've always wanted. You're free of your obligation to this family. You never wanted the responsibility and always complained about it. Now you're free. That's not true, I did not know I had tears left, but I am crying again. I did my very best. If that were true, Leon would have been alive, she sighs and turns back to the television. Defeated, I only look at her. I tried to explain, but it is like she and Dad refuses to comprehend the words. I want to believe it is only the grief talking, but my gut is telling me I am only fooling myself. According to them, Leon's death is solely on my shoulders. Where's Dad? I ask. Maybe if I try talking to him again, he will listen. At the bar, she replies. And you should get going. I don't want you to miss the bus. Mom, I came here to help, I say urgently. I took time off from work to stay here and, no need, she interrupts me. You should go work and add to your piles of money. Will you please stop? I jump up as I look at her on the verge of hysteria. Stop blaming me for Leon's choices. I didn't borrow the money, he did. I owe hundreds of thousands of dollars and cannot afford more loans, Mother. Nice, she snorts. Blame the dead. I'm your child too, I continue. No, Mother stands up. You're not. I don't have children anymore. Mom, don't bother coming to the funeral, she says as she walks to her room. You're no longer welcome here. My legs give in, and I sit down as she slams the door shut. I knew today was going to be hard, but this is too much. I force myself to stand up and walk to the door. I inhale the fresh air deeply, but a radiating pain rips through my abdomen and I fall onto my knees in the pouring rain. Lyanna POV Miss, a man kneels next to me. Are you okay? Yes, I pant as the pain subsides. My stomach, but I'm okay now. He helps me up and I smile shyly at him. Thank you, Stanley, he smiles brightly. Thank you, Stanley, I secure my handbag over my shoulder and pick up my bag. Can I give you a lift? He asks as he walks with me in the direction of the bus stop. You're kind, but no thanks, I close my eyes as my abdomen cramps again. It's raining, he protests. You'll get sick. I promise I'm not a serial killer or, I know you're not, I smile weakly. You're the guy that tried to save my brother. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, he sighs. I wish, what's wrong? I cannot stop myself from moaning aloud when the pain hits again and I stop to catch my breath. Probable the stomach flu, I wave it off as nothing. It will pass. No way, he shakes his head. I'm taking you to the hospital. I'm fine, really, I protest weakly but grab hold of his arm when fresh pain radiates through me. Okay, yes please. I do not struggle when he picks me up and carries me to his truck. I am in too much pain to walk, and I want every painkiller known to man. The pain keeps on coming and going as he drives me in silence to the nearest hospital. A little help here. he shouts as he parks at the ER and runs over to my side. People rush over to me with a gurney, and I close my eyes as I fold double when they push me inside. Where does it hurt? An elder man with kind grey eyes asks. My stomach, I grunt. It came out of nowhere. What's your name? He asks as people move me onto a bed. Lyanna, I pant as I fight the pain. Erickson. Okay, Lyanna, I'm Dr. Weber and I'm going to examine you, okay? He smiles as he pulls up my shirt. Firmly he presses my abdomen, but when he presses on the right side, I scream bloody murder. Appendicitis, he mumbles as he pulls down my shirt. Are you on any medications? Yes, I whimper and point to my bag. Everything I take is in there. Doctor, I grab his coat and he leans closer to me. I'm pregnant, I whisper when he is within earshot. But don't tell, please. Nobody must know, please. Not yet. I understand, he smiles reassuringly, and for a split second, I relax. We will leave it up to you to announce the joyous news when you're good and ready. For now, we're going to examine you a little more, but chances are that we'll have to remove your appendix laparoscopic. No, I look at him in panic. I want this baby. I have been debating keeping it back and forth, but now that the moment is here, I know without a doubt that I want to keep my baby. In the last 24 hours, I have lost more than I could imagine. I cannot lose anything else. My baby, you and your baby will be fine, he pats my hand sympathetically. It's a perfectly safe procedure for pregnant women. Okay, I exhale deeply and close my eyes. Is there anyone we can call for you? He asks softly. Maybe your friend that brought you in. He's a stranger, I reply. My parents' neighbor and a good Samaritan that took pity on me. He's still here, Lyanna, he says softly. Please tell him thank you and that I'll be fine, I smile weakly. Okay, he pats my hand again. I'll see you in a minute. Thank you, I mumble, and I close my eyes as a nurse pushes my bed down the hallway. Axel POV. I am at the office sitting at my desk, but I cannot concentrate on my work. I am not happy that Lyanna has gone alone to her parents. And I am especially unhappy that she is taking the bus. I do not care that she is right that the pack needs me now or that I cannot do anything for her parents. She is hurting and I want to be there for her. But I cannot force her to include me. The only consolation I have is that Stanley is still there. He will inform me if there is something I need to know. There is a knock on my door, and I pull myself together when Adele enters. Punctual as always, I smile at her as she takes a seat across from me. What did you find? The biggest shit show since Watergate, she snorts. Stacy Brooks, she hands over a file. She is Wilson's mate and over the years she had more ailments than supercalifragilisticexpialidocious has syllables. And she needs a new heart. She is on the transplant list, but no donor heart has come her way. So Wilson gave his, I nod in understanding. Well, it's a bit creepier than that, Adele pulls a face. Wilson not only tested himself, but he also managed to test Nina as well. Both are compatible donors for Stacy. You're shitting me, I gape at her. I'm afraid not, she shakes her head. Only Wilson knows how he did it, but somehow, he got Nina's blood and had it tested. And not just Nina's. There are at least 20 other tests, but they aren't a match. This makes complete sense and also no sense at all. I lean back in my chair and close my eyes for a moment to sort my thoughts. If Wilson's motive wasn't money, but a heart for Stacy, why did he threaten Lyanna to pay? Oh, Wilson was a man of many talents, Adele snorts. He had a very lucrative sideline as a loan shark until he dipped into his own pot. Wilson had 5 investors and he kept up with paying their monthly interests, but their capital is gone. One of the investors, Wyatt Miller, recalled his investment and Wilson could only do a partial repayment. I have no idea what story he fabricated to Wyatt, but according to his emails, he was going to settle the outstanding 20,000 this week. Wyatt Miller, I sit up and page through the file. Anything on Leon Erickson? Not that I can recall, she frowns. But the last 50 pages are all names of people that borrowed from Wilson. It's in alphabetical order. He could be on that list. Hastily, I flip to the back of the file and scan through the names. He's here, I tap on Leon's name. He owed Wilson money, but only 12,000, not 20. Wilson didn't go easy on interest, Adele raises her eyebrows. And he charged interest on interest. I bet the original amount was something like 5,000. Interesting, I mumble as I go through the list. Have you noticed that almost everyone's debt has been paid? No, she scratches her head sheepishly. Honestly, I haven't paid much attention to that list. That's fine, I smile reassuringly. See these names? Yvonne and Ian? Those were the two men we caught on my property. They either had to do Wilson's bidding or settle their debt. I bet that everyone that participated in this plan owed Wilson, and by helping him he cleared their debt. Have you interviewed anyone? I ask as I close the file. Did you talk to Stacy? No, sir, she replies. I thought it best to talk to you before we start interrogations. Good, I nod. Find everyone on this list that still owes Wilson. 4 of them are already locked up. The rest would be Leon's attackers. But don't talk to Stacy or the investors until we know more. Yes, sir, she nods. Anything else? You're dismissed, I smile. Good work. Adele smiles and stands up to leave. I pick up the file again and attentively page through it. The more I read, the brighter the picture becomes. Nina was more than just a tool to control Lyanna, she was going to be the donor. His suicide was a backup. A last resort if things fell apart. Either Wilson knew Lyanna was not going to pay or he simply did not care. He planned the exchange and kidnapping at the same time. He was either going to walk away with the money and the heart or nothing at all. All I need to figure out is why he killed Leon. And how did he reckon he could get away with it? Surely, he must have known that Nina's disappearance would not go unnoticed. Unless... Holy shit, I mumble as I frantically page through the file until I reach the page I was looking for. A deed to a house in Rochester, Minnesota. The home of Mayo Clinic, one of the most prestige cardiovascular facilities. Wilson never planned suicide as a backup. He did it on the spur of the moment because it was his only way out. No, he took the gun to kill Lyanna. Leon and Lyanna were loose ends and needed to be tied up. Nina was going to be transported to Rochester and then be sacrificed for his mate. With a new identity, his investors would not have found him, and since his enterprise is illegal, they could not call in the authorities to help. And the poor bastard had no idea that Lyanna is my mate. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that I would be looking for him. My phone rings and with irritation, I reach for it and decline the call without looking at the name. Figuring this out is a priority. But my phone immediately starts ringing again, and with a grunt, I pick it up. Instantly my stomach dives when I read the name. Stanley, what's happening? I ask brusquely. It's the daughter, sir, he replies. She's sick and I took her to the hospital. What's wrong with her? I ask as my blood freezes over. They don't want to tell me, sir, he says nervously. I'm not friends or family. I'm on my way, I bark as I jump up and reach for my keys. Lyanna POV. There is a foul taste in my mouth and my eyelids are heavy. I force my eyes open and blink a few times until I register my surroundings. The hospital bed is surprisingly comfortable, and I snuggle deeper into the pillows. They will only operate tonight because I ate earlier, and my stomach needs to be empty. In the meantime, I had the luxury of a pain-free afternoon nap. Whatever medication they gave me, worked like a charm. I turn on my side and freeze when I see the sleeping figure in the chair. Axel. I whisper, surprised, and he opens his eyes. He looks at me for a second before he jumps up and rushes to my side. "You're awake," he states the obvious as he takes my hand. "How are you feeling?" "Well rested," I smile and lean back against the pillows. "How did you know I'm here?" "The question should rather be why didn't you tell me you're here?" He growls as he pulls the chair closer to the bed and takes a seat. "I didn't have time," I yawn and close my eyes. "I was in pain and whatever they gave me made me sleep." "Stop avoiding answering my question." "I'm not avoiding it," he chuckles. "Stanley called me. He's part of my pack, and he was keeping an eye on Leon and your parents. Unfortunately, he failed." "He didn't fail," I sigh. "He was outnumbered." It warms my heart to learn that despite what Leon has done, Axel tried to protect him. Leon is not part of his pack. I am not even part of his pack. Still, he protects us. Nobody has ever been so good to me. Not even the people I call family or who said they love me. Axel has seen me at my worst. I insulted him, doubted him, and fought with him. I even threw him with a tomato, but still, he showed up. And yes, he kills people that deserve it, according to him. But he is also the kindest and most considerate man I know. Not to mention trustworthy and loyal. He is the father of my child whether he wants to be part of it or not, and I love him. It hurts to know that he will never love me the way I love him. Once our agreement is over, he will politely thank me and let me go. When the time comes, I will deal with it, and I will always be grateful for everything he has done for me. He might not love me, but he has shown me love. But if I must pick a day to be rejected, today will be it. My parents already kicked me out, I might as well get it over and done with Axel. "You're a good man, Axel Silverman," I say softly as I fight the sleep. "That's why I love you." "What?" His voice is a mere whisper, and his hold tightens on my hand. "You heard me," I smile nervously. Just because I want to deal with this, does not mean he does. I have said it and you cannot take back words. Even when you say something you do not mean, it will always be there lingering. Now the poor man must pick his words carefully to let me down easy. "I love you. Can I go back to sleep now, please?" "Yes, no," he stutters and stands up. "You can't go to sleep after saying that." "It's the perfect time to say it," I yawn and turn on my side to sleep. "Now you're not in that awkward situation that you have to respond." "But what if I want to respond?" He protests heftily. "I didn't say you couldn't," I laugh as I turn back to face him. "But this way you can pretend that I haven't said anything and avoid the awkwardness." "Do you have a fever?" He frowns and places a hand on my forehead. "Or did they pump you full of drugs and now you're hallucinating?" "No," I groan, and my eyes fall closed. "I meant what I said." After the day I had, things changed and got into perspective. "So, I love you and good night." His joyous laughter fills the room and I open my eyes to look at him. Of all the reactions, laughing at me was the last I expected. And it stings that he finds it amusing that I love him. "You should go now," I turn my back on him and close my eyes. "I want to be alone and cry." "Never," he comes to sit on my bed and cups my face so that he can look me in the eyes. "I never planned on leaving you, and after your confession I sure not going anywhere." "Axel, you don't," "I don't," he leans over and kisses me softly. "But I want to," he murmurs against my lips. "Because I love you too." "You do?" I ask flabbergasted and wiggle out of his hold to sit upright. "Why haven't you said anything?" I slap him against his shoulder. "Why make me say it first?" "Well, first I had to give you time to get over Wyatt," he shrugs. "And then you sounded so disappointed that you marked me. So, I assumed that you don't feel the way I do." "I wasn't disappointed," I protest indignantly. "I was devastated that I disgraced something sacred to you. I can't believe you made me say it first. What are you doing?" I laugh softly as he pulls me onto his lap. You talk too much, he mumbles before he kisses me until I am lightheaded. If we talked more often, we would have figured this out sooner, I whisper as I close my eyes when his lips trail down to my neck. Why do you always fight me on everything? He grunts against my skin. I'm not, I sigh as he pushes me back against the pillows. You're doing it right now, he captures my lips and I throw my arms around his neck. I return his kiss with all the love I have for him. We still have so much to talk about and things to work through, but not now. For now, I am simply going to submit to the happiness that is overwhelming me. Excuse me, a sharp voice snaps me out of my euphoria. Sir, what do you think you're doing? Kissing the love of my life, Axel murmurs against my lips and reluctantly I let him go. This isn't a hotel room, the resident snorts. Get off her and return her tonsils. Rude, Axel gives the resident a deathly look and the young man's face pales. Sir, I'm sorry, he swallows hard. I meant it as a joke. Get out of this room and come back in 5 minutes, Axel orders him. Sir, please, he looks panicky at Axel. I need to prep her for the procedure and my boss. 5 minutes, Axel growls and he scurries out of the room. That poor soul, I laugh softly. He's a human and doesn't know you're a wolf, Axel. You shouldn't be so hard on him. He'll get over it, Axel snorts before he leans over and kisses me tenderly. There is a cough from the door and Axel sighs heavily. I love you, Lyanna, he murmurs against my lips. I love you, I kiss him once more before he stands up. And you, Axel's voice is loaded with authority. You need to work on your bedside manners. Yes, sir, he nods. I apologize, sir. You better bring her back alive, Axel threatens him as he starts pushing my bed towards the door. Yes, sir, he nods. Good luck, Axel kisses me quickly. And come back to me. Axel POV my heart pulls painfully together as I watch the resident push Lyanna away. I know this is not a life-threatening procedure, but I cannot help but worry. I cannot lose her, not now that I know she loves me. I have waited and hoped for so long, and now the time has come to confess to her that she is my mate. The happiness I felt when she said those words were overwhelming. I thought my heart was going to explode. I want to rush home and get her engagement ring to propose when she wakes up, and I must force myself to stay. I am not the world's most romantic man but, at the very least I want to make an effort and give her a special occasion. Doing it in the hospital with the smell of illness and disinfectant would be wrong. I rub my sweaty palms nervously against my jeans. I hope she says yes when I ask. To love me is one thing, to spend the rest of days with me, is another. But before I plan anything, I must work on Angela's situation. Lyanna was right, I did not think it through properly. Angela wanted Lyanna dead when I was only sleeping with her. I shudder to think what Angela will do when I break off the fake engagement to marry Lyanna. Killing her would solve all my problems and would be so much easier. I will do it in a blink of an eye, but I heard what Lyanna said the other day. Not only will she feel guilty that Angela had to die, but her parents will also avenge her and start a war with our pack. What I do know, is that I will not make a decision without consulting Lyanna. If she agrees to marry me, she will be my Luna and we will be a team. Even though Lyanna is a human and does not fully comprehend our way of doing, she is reasonable and objective. She is kind-hearted and fair. I never realized how much I need someone like her by my side. I need her voice of reason to keep me from making spontaneous mistakes like getting engaged to Angela. I sigh heavily as I sit down and close my eyes. It is going to be at least another 40 minutes before Lyanna's procedure is done and heavens know how long before she wakes up. Time has never moved so slowly before, and this is going to be the longest wait of my life. Lyanna POV I don't care for your opinion, Axel's angry voice pierces through my clouded brain. I'm not leaving her here. She's coming home with me. Mr. Silverman, Dr. Weber's voice is patient. It's heartwarming that you care so much for her, but it's not safe to transport her now. It's in her best interest. Are you telling me I don't have her interest at heart? Axel bellows furiously. I'm not going to dump her on the back seat of my car and take her to a shack. I have the means to transport her with medevac to a hospital closer to home. Axel, I croak, and instantly he stops arguing with the doctor. Hi, he whispers as he stands next to me and gently strokes my hair. How are you feeling? Stop arguing with the doctor, I grunt and close my eyes. He's only doing his job. Welcome back, Dr. Weber smiles at me. Your procedure went smoothly and you're going to be fine. She'll be even better when I take her home, Axel glares at Weber. Doctor, can you give us a moment, please? I ask politely. He nods and smiles at me before he leaves the room. Axel, I turn to him. You're not the alpha here. You can't force your will onto people. Please, he snorts. Humans might not understand wolves, but they understand money and I have plenty of it. A hospital is a hospital, Axel, I reason softly. Let me stay here. Dr. Weber is kind and I trust him. I honestly don't want to travel right now. I'm not being stubborn or difficult, he sighs, and for the first time, it registers that he is worried. I cannot protect you here, and this thing with Wilson isn't resolved. We uncovered some disconcerting stuff about Wilson. Nina's still under protection and you should be too. With a sigh, I close my eyes. When is this drama going to end? Just as I think we made progress, another thing pops up. I was serious when I said that I am not up for traveling, but insisting to stay is going to complicate things for Axel and I do not want to do that to him. Okay, I reluctantly agree. But I'll talk to Dr. Weber. You're too mean. I'm sorry, he rests his forehead on mine. I love you and I wouldn't have insisted if I thought it isn't necessary. I know, I try to smile. Please call the doctor and make your arrangements. Axel POV. I feel like a dog when we land on the hospital's roof. Lyanna is whiter than the sheets in which she is wrapped. I wish I could have left her where she was, but I cannot risk it. Her room is ready, Michelle shouts over the helicopter's noise. Let's get her inside. I nod and silently follow Michelle and her personnel to Lyanna's room. I stand in the corner and out of their way as Michelle examines her. She'll be fine, Michelle says after a small eternity. Exhausted but fine. And our arrangements are in place? I ask sternly. Yes, she nods. Nobody in or out of this room except for pre-screened personnel. Good, I nod. I'll be here most of the time anyway. I'm going home, Michelle rubs over her eyes. It's 1 o'clock in the morning and judging by your complexion, you also need to rest. Duly noted, I grunt and wait until everyone is out before I walk to Lyanna's bed. I kiss her softly before I make myself comfortable on the recliner and close my eyes. The vibration of my phone wakes me and I quickly step out of the room before it wakes Lyanna. Hello, Angela, I try to keep the irritation out of my voice. Why are you calling so early? It's 8 o'clock, she laughs brightly. Since when is that early for you? Since I was up most of last night dealing with pack business, I growl. Oh, yes, I heard, she replies, and I frown. How does she knows our pack's business? Your father told my dad, she says as if she read my mind. Terrible stuff. What do you want, Angela? I ask exhausted. It is too early in the morning to deal with her. I miss you, she sounds like a little girl and a shiver of disgust ripples through me. I haven't seen you in a month, and I cannot forget our last night together. Now is not the time, I cut her short. I do not want to be reminded about that. When is the time? She asks irritated. You always have an excuse not to see me. When this is over, I inhale deeply to calm myself. I'm not even at home. I know, she replies. Your mother told me. Then you know I'm not lying, I grind my teeth. My parents really should stay out of my business. I am only glad that I have not told Dad every detail. I told him just enough to keep him happy. Well, we should still talk, she says adamantly. We need to announce our engagement and make arrangements for the wedding and your inauguration. There are only 3 months left. There's no need for an engagement party, I smirk. It feels good to say it. You already announced it. Only to Julia, she protests. That's hardly an announcement. And you think that juicy piece of information won't travel like wildfire through my pack, I yell angrily. You brought this over yourself. No engagement party. Axel, no, she starts crying. That's not fair. How was I supposed to know Julia couldn't keep a secret? You should fire her and not punish me. What's done is done, I say mercilessly. I'm also done talking about it. There will be no party. And if I even get so much as a whiff that you're planning one, I'm canceling the wedding. You're cruel, she yells. What has gotten into you? I said what I wanted to, I ignore her crying. Goodbye, Angela. Axel, wait, but I do not wait. I disconnect the call and go back into the room. Lyanna is still sleeping and looking at her peaceful face calms me down a little. At least one thing is going my way. Lyanna loves me. I cannot wait for her to wake up so that we can talk and plan our future together. It's creepy to watch people sleep, she groans, and I rush to her side. And before you ask, I'm fine. Good, I laugh before I gently kiss her and take a seat on her bed. Can I get you anything? You can get off my floor, she mumbles and sheepishly I scoot away. Anything else? I chuckle. Coffee, she sighs longingly. Nice try, I take her hand into mine. It's clear juices for you until Michelle says otherwise. Then I'm going back to sleep, she grunts. Wake me up when I can have caffeine. Lyanna, we need to talk, I say seriously. We'll do plenty of talking, she pulls a face. The doctor said no X for the next 2 weeks. Really? I ask disappointed. Not that is the alpha and omega, but she told me she loves me, damn it. I want to celebrate those words with actions. Really, she confirms. I sigh heavily as the true meaning registers. I will have to postpone the arrangements for my proposal. When I started planning, it slipped my mind that she will not heal as fast as a she-wolf. A picnic in the woods where I revealed my wolf to her, is not a strenuous activity, but she might not be strong enough or in the mood for an outing. Okay, about Wilson, I inhale deeply before I tell her everything Adele discovered. Was Wyatt ever violent towards you? Or have you ever felt unsafe with him? No, she frowns. Except for the time in the parking lot. And his financial affairs. I ask as I fight my anger. Remember the time he attacked her, and Nina infuriates me all over. Have you ever wondered where he got the money from? Of course not, she scoffs. He's the Delta's son. I always assumed Deltas are paid a lot. Do you think he's in charge? These are routine questions, I smile softly to ease her. The other investors will be interrogated the same way. I only wanted more information before I confront Wyatt. This is disturbing, she sighs. Remember what Wilson said to you in the park? He said Leon laughed at him when he picked out the gun. Do you think Leon knew Wilson planned on killing me? No, I say urgently. I think Wilson was playing them. It might have started out as the 3 of them collecting from you, but I think it changed for Wilson when Nina turned out to be a match. For Leon and Wyatt, it was about the money. For Wilson, it was about the heart. That's strangely comforting, her bottom lip quivers slightly. Knowing that my brother didn't participate in planning to kill me. I'm sorry, I lean over and kiss her. I would much rather pull her onto my lap and hold her, but I am afraid that I might hurt her. It's awful and I'm sorry. That's not the worst of it, she cries softly. My parents, she stops abruptly and cries softly as she pulls her hand from mine and covers her face. Lyanna, I lay down next to her and gently pull her closer. Tell me what happened yesterday. Her words are soft and uneven as she struggles to tell me through the tears. And the more I hear, the angrier I get. For as long as I live, I will never be able to understand how parents can worship one child and grossly neglect the other. I might be an only child, but it simply makes no sense to me. I stroke her hair and back while whispering comforting words as I try to contain my anger. As much as I despise her parents at this moment, so little can I do or say. It is her parents after all. But if it was up to me, damn, I am going to need a cemetery. Lyanna POV, you should get going, I sniff after I cried myself empty. You have work waiting. I'm not leaving you like this, Axel says adamantly and kisses me quickly. I know, and that's one of the reasons why I love you, I smile as I caress his cheek. But you're an alpha and not a babysitter. I'm well cared for and safe here. Besides, I'm going to ask Michelle for those magic potions of hers that take away the pain and help me sleep. I still think I should stay, Axel frowns. And do what, exactly? I roll my eyes. You can't help me, but you can help the pack. Please go. I'll be right here when you're done at work. Okay, he gives in after a moment and kisses me before he gets up. I smile softly as I watch him leave and place my hand on my abdomen. I cannot wait to tell him I am pregnant. But now was not the right time. Not while I am all snot and tears and too sore to sit up straight. For God's sake, I at least want to brush my hair and teeth before I tell him. Maybe I should do one of those cute pregnancy reveals that is trending currently. Make it a special and memorable occasion. Good morning, Michelle interrupts my thoughts as she enters my room. How are you today? I'd be ungrateful if I complain, I smile as she examines my wounds. Everyone is taking really good care of me. Good to hear, she smiles. Have you had time to think about the pregnancy? Oh, yes, I laugh happily. I want this baby without a doubt. I realized how I felt when I thought I could lose it. Have you told the father? She asks softly. Actually, that's what I was thinking about when you came in, I smile. I want to make it memorable. Any brilliant ideas? It depends on what he likes, she frowns. But I like the one where you give him a puzzle to build and then it spells, I'm pregnant. Not bad, I nod. But I have plenty of time in this bed to think about it. Not that much, she smiles. If nothing changes, I will discharge you tomorrow. Really? I ask eagerly. It would be great to be at home. Just to go home, she raises her eyebrows. I'm not clearing you for work for at least another week. And no X, I roll my eyes. No X, Michelle laughs as she leaves the room and I make myself comfortable for a nap. Axel POV morning, Juliana, I greet as I walk into the office and take out a box of chocolates. This is for you. Thank you, she looks at me flabbergasted. But why? For keeping the fort in my absence, I grin. Without help, I should add. Yet, where is Lyanna? Juliana looks at me curiously. I haven't seen or heard from her since she went home sick 3 days ago. She's in the hospital, but she's doing fine, I reply. Appendicitis, she won't return for the next week or so. Poor thing, Juliana pouts. I should pay her a visit. She would like that, I nod as I walk to my office. Any messages? Yes, she replies. It's on your desk. Thank you, and you can send in Adele when she arrives, I say before I close the door behind me and walk to my desk. I groan inwardly when I notice the message from Jack. He is getting impatient because I continue to postpone the signing of the contract. But he must wait a little bit longer. I am going to dump him and Angela simultaneously. Morning, sir, Adele greets me as she enters my office and takes a seat. I have everything you asked for. She places a file on my desk, and I pull it closer. I'm listening, I lean back in my hair. You were right, she clears her throat. Everyone that still owed Wilson was given a choice to either pay immediately or have their debt scratched by participating in his plan. We also have the guys in custody that attacked and killed Leon. I have affidavits from people confessing to kidnapping Nina to transporting her to Rochester. There's even a nurse who confessed that she was going to forge the paperwork for the transplant. Thanks, I sigh. Get the paperwork to Nick. All of them will be arrested and serve time in prison. Will there be any leniency because they cooperated? Adele asks. No, I say brusquely. Every single one of them had the choice to come to me for help. And if they didn't want to talk to me, they could have gone to my dad. If Lyanna didn't come to me, Nina would have been dead by now. Nina might be a human, but she's part of our pack and under our laws and protection. I understand, Adele nods. I need you to investigate the investors, I continue. Everyone but Wyatt. I already have an appointment with him. Yes, sir, Adele gets up and leaves. I am busy reading the affidavits when Wyatt arrives at my office. He looks uncertain and a little nervous as he takes a seat across from me. Do you know why you're here? I ask when he settles down. About my position as future Delta, Wyatt replies. And why would you think that? I ask amused as I lean back in my chair. Your inauguration is in a couple of months, and you must appoint your ranks, he replies nonchalantly. I've been pulling my weight and haven't crossed any lines since my mate rejected me. You know the rules, Wyatt, I smirk. You cannot be a rank without your mate. Except if she rejects me, he grins. I read up on our laws. If I reject her for any other reason than unfaithfulness on her part, I'm not eligible. But if she rejects me, I may be appointed as rank. Imagine all the drama and chaos you could have avoided if you read that earlier, I reply sarcastically. Rather late than never, he shrugs. There's only one problem, Wyatt, I lean forward on my desk and intertwine my fingers. You weren't a model citizen since Lyanna rejected you. What do you mean? He frowns. Wilson, I smirk, and Wyatt visibly pales. I know about everything. Do you know that Leon's dead? No, he gapes. What about Lyanna? Where is she? That's none of your concern, I growl. It agitates me that he is asking about my mate. He does not even have the right to say her name. But, you're here to defend yourself, I cut him off brusquely. Your association with Wilson isn't doing you any favors. He owes me money, Wyatt says nervously. That's it. He was supposed to repay me at the end of this week, but then he shot himself. I'm out of $20,000, I'm the victim here. Wyatt, you should quit while you're ahead, I warn him. None of that is news to me. And you basically confessed to illegal investments. If you want to clear your name, I need the full story. Fine, he sighs and bows his head. For a moment there is only silence around us before he looks up. Leon needed money and I referred him to Wilson because Leon still owed me, and I was done with him. Leon nominated Lyanna as surety. The first time Leon convinced Lyanna to give him money. Are you sure? I frown. Lyanna never said anything and, wait, that time I gave her parents $10,000. Lyanna was furious about it because they used it to pay Leon's debt. Yes, Wyatt replies. At least, that's what Wilson told me. Anyway, Leon borrowed money again and couldn't pay. Lyanna cut him off, so Wilson came to me for help. I refused to get involved. Especially after you ordered me to pay Lyanna. I had enough of the Ericksons. That's when Leon suggested to Wilson to pressure Lyanna by threatening her best friend. Why did you pull your investment? I ask. Gwen is pregnant, and we need a bigger house, he replies bluntly. I look stoically at Wyatt as I overthink his words. There are so many holes in his story, I could compare it to Swiss cheese. The only consistency is that the three of them were in cahoots, and the only people that can contradict him, are dead. I doubt that Leon wanted Lyanna dead. She was his only source of income. And after what I learned about Stacy, Wilson only had his mate's heart in mind. But Wyatt, he has a motive. This must be convenient for you, I look at him as I straighten my shoulders. Wilson and Leon can't speak for themselves. And you, well, you must really hate Lyanna. She rejected you, spoiling your chance at becoming Delta, and you must repay her $50,000. Leon and Wilson didn't come up with the plan to kidnap Nina, you did. You have no proof, Wyatt explodes red in the face. I'm innocent. How is Leon's death benefiting me? Forsake, I lost money because of this. Your reaction tells me all I need to know, I smile sarcastically. And I bet it was your idea that Wilson kills Lyanna. Lyanna's dead? Wyatt asks and fails to hide his pleasure. No, she's not, my voice is low and dark as I fight my anger. But you're the one that convinced Wilson to do it. That's why you pulled your investment. You didn't want to be associated with him if he gets caught. That's not true, he bellows. I didn't, enough, I slam on my desk as I lose my temper. I know everything. I spoke with Wilson, and we have his computer and cell phone which can prove everything. I know I am bluffing the last part, but I cannot stand his lies any longer. Lyanna costs me everything, Wyatt jumps up and looks at me challenging. And if that bitch Nina didn't pump her head full of shit, I could have gotten her back before she rejected me. So yes, it was my idea to use Nina, but Wilson wasn't going to kill Lyanna. He was going to bring her to me. She had to pay for the pain I had to endure for cheating and then rejecting me. Thank you for your honesty, I smile satisfied and walk around the desk to Wyatt. He looks at me cautiously. How about I show my gratitude and tell you who she cheated with? You know. Wyatt gapes. Yes, I do, I smile, and he relaxes a little. Lyanna found her second chance mate that night. Impossible, he frowns. She was still mated to me then. Oh, thanks to you, she hasn't the slightest clue, I grin. You did a great job keeping her in the dark about the mate bond. So, who is it? He asks eagerly. It's me, I growl and look at him with cold, hard anger. Wyatt's eyes widen and he opens his mouth in protest as I extend my claw and behead him. Axel POV. I sigh heavily as I watch Wyatt's blood stain a perfectly good carpet. Damn it, I should have thought this through. Now I must replace the carpet. I should have done it outside in the woods or on the bathroom tiles. Lyanna is going to be so mad at me, I exhale deeply. But I am not sorry and will do it again. I pick up my phone and order a cleaning crew and a new carpet before I grab my jacket and leave the office. Juliana, I stand in front of her desk. Nobody in or out my office, including you. Expect the cleaning crew that will arrive soon. Certainly, sir, she nods. And I'll remind them to move the body through the back. That's why you're irreplaceable, I smile, and she slightly blushes. My heart is light and free as I walk to the elevator. This mess is finally behind us. All that is left, is to kick Angela to the side and confess to Lyanna. The latter is going to be more complicated, I know. Why are you out of bed? I ask concerned when I walk into Lyanna's room. Doctor's orders, she smiles as she turns away from the window to face me. I must start moving. Michelle said I can go home tomorrow. Aren't you still in pain? I walk towards her. A little, she shrugs. But I have awesome painkillers. But, I'm not running a marathon, Axel, she winches slightly before she walks back to bed. But I want to go home, and she won't discharge me if I don't start moving. Okay, I wipe tiredly over my face. Who am I to argue with a doctor? You look terrible, Lyanna's voice is soft and soothing. Is everything okay? We should talk, I sigh and sit next to her on the bed. This sounds ominous, she laughs nervously but quickly stops and looks at me with fear. My parents, are they okay? Did something happen to them? No, no, I say quickly as I take her hands into mine. Nothing like that. It's about Wilson. Oh, good, she sighs relieved. What about him? You were right, I say softly as I look at her. It was all Wyatt. He was angry because you rejected him and wanted revenge. He did invest in Wilson's business and Leon did owe him money. But it was Wyatt's idea to involve Nina. He blamed her for helping you. But he wasn't part of Leon's death. That was Wilson. Wilson had his own agenda and Leon was simply collateral damage. Wow, okay, she murmurs after a moment. What's going to happen now? Well, I take a deep breath. Everybody that participated in Wilson's plan will be arrested and sentenced to jail. Including the men that killed Leon. Good, she nods. Lyanna, Wyatt is dead, I say softly and her head jerks up. I'm sorry, I couldn't stop myself after he confessed. You killed him. Her voice is hoarse, and her hands start shaking. Yes, I admit and do not move when she pulls her hands away from mine. He confessed that he wanted to kidnap you and make you pay. His words, not mine. Lyanna does not say a word as she stands up and walks to the window. The silence is deafening as I watch her stare absent-mindedly out of the window. Lyanna POV, my ears are ringing, and my heart is racing as I process the information. I am not angry, sad, or disappointed, I am stupefied. I was going to marry that bastard. A cruel, evil, and manipulative bastard. If I did not walk in on him and Gwen that night. I shudder despite the warmth of the room. For sake, I cried over him. Gwen did me a humongous favor when she took him from me. What about Gwen and their son? I turn to Axel. They're at home, I guess, he replies, stunned by my reaction, and I do not blame him. After the lecture I gave him about killing people, he would have expected me to be mad. And 3 days ago, I might have been. But things have changed. I have changed. I understand now what Axel meant when he said he would kill for me. Wyatt would not have stopped coming for me if Axel did not kill him. We should send them flowers, I say as I sit down in the chair. We should help them during their time of grief, they're still part of the pack. You're not mad? Axel frowns as he walks to me. Of course, I'm mad, I look up at him. But not at you, at Wyatt. If I married him, I would have been a neglected and battered wife by now. Gwen saved me from the biggest mistake of my life. She needs our support. Okay, he kneels in front of me. I will help them as much as I can. Thank you, I caress his cheek and he turns his head to plant a kiss on my palm. So, you're not even a little upset that I killed him? Axel asks cautiously as he stands up and pulls me to my feet. No, I throw my arms around his neck. It's like you said, there's mercy in death. Wyatt wasn't going to show me mercy and his hate for me would have escalated over time. This could have been so much worse. You did what you had to. You never cease to surprise me, he chuckles before he leans over and gently kisses me. But there's one more thing, he murmurs when he pulls away and my stomach dives. Really? Is all this not enough? I have a confession, he clears his throat and looks nervous. You're my mate. What? I frown. I don't understand. I didn't know when we met in the bar, he explains. You were still mated to Wyatt then. But I knew you were my mate when I saw you in the parking lot. And you didn't say anything. I gape at him flabbergasted. All this time he knew. Days, weeks, and months were wasted because he did not tell me. I couldn't, he pushes his fingers through his hair. You're a human and don't feel the mate bond like we do. You still had a broken heart after Wyatt, and I had to give you time to get over him. You said it yourself, you would have rejected me then. I'm so angry at you right now, I admit. And I'm not allowed to be, because you're right. I would have rejected you then. But I have been in love with you for months now. And to ask why you haven't told me at a later stage would be redundant because how could you have known? But Axel, how long were you planning on keeping this to yourself? If I haven't told you I love you, you wouldn't have told me now. I don't know and I'm scared, Lyanna, he looks at me pleadingly. After what Wyatt has done to you, I was afraid that you would reject me. Your opinions are so vastly different from mine. I didn't want to risk losing you and played it safe. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not telling you sooner and I'm sorry if you feel betrayed. And as I'm saying this, I'm scared shitless that you might reject me now. Why on earth would I want to do that? I ask confused. You know I love you, why would I reject you? Because accepting me as your mate is a lifetime commitment, he sighs and slumps down in a chair. It's bigger than I love you. It's more than a feeling. If you accept me, there's no amicable separation. It's either death or excruciating pain. There's no easy way out. Speechless I look at him and the anguish in his eyes breaks my heart. This really has been eating at him. Memories of conversations and happenings flush through my mind and I cringe inside. I have been crying and missing sleep because I was hopelessly in love, but Axel. I marked him. A rejection for him would be much worse than a broken heart for me. Nina told me how to reject a wolf, I say, and his eyes turn dark with agony. But how do I accept my mate? I ask as I sit on his lap and wrap my arms around his neck. Because I don't want to mess it up. You need to be sure, he looks at me hesitantly. There's no turning back. Are you trying to convince me to reject you? I raise my eyebrows. No, he says quickly as his arms go around my waist. But you should know what you're getting yourself into. Okay, I nod and inhale deeply. Just one more thing, I'm a human and you're the alpha. How's that going to work? Aren't there rules against it? Are you going to lose your position? No, I won't, he chuckles. Nothing changes. You'll be part of the pack and will be treated like any other she-wolf. You won't be the first human Luna and you won't be the last. I love you, Axel, I kiss him softly. And I want to accept you. Just tell me how to do it. I'm going to mark you, he gently touches my neck. The same way you marked me. Okay, I'm ready, I announce and curve my neck sideways to allow him access. I'm not doing it now, he laughs before he kisses me. Not like this. Why? I pout. Are you having second thoughts? Not even close, he kisses my neck and I shiver in delight. It's a very arousing experience, he murmurs against my skin. And you're out of commission. We can do it when you're healed. This sucks, I complain. Only a little, he chuckles and looks at me. You know you're my mate and I know you're not going to reject me. It's good enough for now and it gives us something to look forward to. I trace his face as I ponder if I should tell him about the baby. I want to tell him so badly. It is hell keeping it to myself. But the need to surprise him wins my urge to blurt it out. I love you, I smile before I kiss him. Lyanna POV. I take a deep breath as I stroke the imaginary wrinkles out of my black jacket before I walk to the car. Today is Leon's funeral and my nerves are shattered. If not for Stanley, I would not have known the funeral is today. My parents are still ignoring my calls, and I have stopped trying. I know I am not welcome, but I am still going. He was my brother, after all. Axel has been my rock. For hours, he listened to me whining, crying, and complaining. He wiped my tears and encouraged me. He made me feel loved and wanted when my parents tossed me aside. In the days that passed, I opened up to him and shared all my insecurities and beliefs. Not once did he look at me like I am a moron or uneducated, even though we did not always agree. Drew smiles kindly at me as he holds open the car door for me. Thanks, Drew, I say as I get in and immediately snuggle closer to Axel. You smell nice, Axel takes my hand. Thank you, I squeeze his hand. And you should like it, you bought it. Man, I have the best taste, he grins at me, and I laugh softly. I've been thinking a lot about what you said yesterday, I turn to look at him. And you're right, I need a backbone. That's not what I've said, he protests. You might as well, I laugh. I have allowed my family to walk over me for too long. Even when I told them no, I would give in eventually. I have no backbone. You'll grow one, he smirks. With time. I would have done so many things differently if I had one, I sigh. For starters, I wouldn't have been so indecisive and second-guessing everything. And you would have confessed your love for me sooner, he bats his eyes ridiculously at me. That's supposed to be the man's job, I bump his shoulder. Please, he rolls his eyes at me. Your kind burned bras for the privilege to say it first. Because your kind sucked at it, I smirk. Oh, really, he leans over and gently caresses my neck with his lips. We'll have to revisit this conversation next week when you're cleared for duty. Duty? I gasp pretentiously. Keep it up, mister. I will develop a headache in a heartbeat. You were so much easier to seduce before you started growing a backbone, he growls theatrically. Axel and I are standing silently next to each other while watching from a distance. No matter how much I fought it, insecurities and fear found their way into my heart. For more than 2 decades, I was molded by my family, and breaking the chains is harder than I thought it would be. It is easy to say I am going to do it, but the reality is much harder. Today is going to be hard enough on my parents, I do not need to make it harder for them. And it has nothing to do with my feelings but out of respect for theirs. Leon was my blood, but we were never close. I am here regardless of the distance, and that is enough. Mother's cries echo around me as the coffin lowers and my nails dig into Axel's skin. Dad bows his head, and his shoulders are shaking as he sobs. I bite hard onto my quivering bottom lip. My biggest loss is my father. I would give anything to comfort him at this moment. We should go, I croak as I turn away. Okay, Axel drapes his arm around my shoulder and leads me back to the car. 2 weeks. The thought shoots through my mind and I jump out of bed. I do not have words to describe how much I have been looking forward to this moment. Returning to work on a Friday is ridiculous, but I have been homebound long enough. To make things worse, Axel left for Dallas a day after the funeral. But today everything will return to normal. Axel is coming home, and I am cleared for work and other activities. It is the other activities that have my heart racing. I am frustrated, there is no denying it. Axel has arranged a special night for us, and I cannot wait to be marked by him. Plus, I have finally finished Axel's surprise to announce my pregnancy. In record time, I shower and dress before enjoying a huge breakfast. I managed to pick up some of the weight I have lost, and Michelle is satisfied with the baby's development. I have a standing appointment with her every week to check on the baby. I do not want to screw it up. There is a bounce in my step as I grab my handbag and leave for the office. By the time the elevator door pings, Juliana and I have caught up on gossip and enjoyed our morning break. I look up eagerly in anticipation to see Axel, but my heart drops to my feet when Angela walks towards us. For sake, I grunt as I lower my gaze and ignore her. Which god in what universe did I piss off that my perfect day must be spoiled by her? Good morning, Angela's voice is sweet and friendly, and I nearly choke. I have no idea how to handle a friendly Angela. How can I help? Juliana rescues me and I could kiss her feet out of gratitude. I'm here to surprise my fiancé, Angela pouts as she holds her ring up high and I roll my eyes. He hasn't returned yet, Juliana informs her. He's been in Dallas the whole week. I know, Angela snaps fiercely. He's my fiancé. There she is, I grin inwardly. The real Angela, and it only took her 3 minutes to surface. Anyway, she pouts as she admires her ring. I'll just wait for him in his office. I'm wearing something special. Would you like something to drink while you wait? Juliana offers. Arsenic, I mumble under my breath. Excuse me. Her head jerks my way. Apple juice, I smile. We have fresh apple juice. Ugh, she rolls her eyes at me and turns back to Juliana. As I was saying, I simply cannot forget our last night together. Being pinned to the wall while he pleased me. It was so hot. My fingers cramp around my pen as my ears start ringing. This cannot be true. She is lying. Axel assured me he had not slept with her, and I believed him. He is not a psycho like Angela, and I choose to believe him. But that does not make it easier to hear her say the words. I need apple juice, I announce as I get up. The faster I get away from this conversation the better. I am fighting really hard to keep this day disaster-free. At that moment Axel walks in and our eyes lock for a moment. Baby, Angela squeals and splinters the moment she runs into his arms. You're home, I've missed you so much. What are you doing here? Axel scoffs as he pushes her away. Surprising you, she pouts. You've been so busy lately and we have a wedding to arrange. Not now, he brushes her off. I have work to do. I'll wait, she chirps and takes a seat on the couch by Juliana's desk. It's the weekend, baby. Once you're done here, you're all mine. Ladies, my office please, Axel looks at me and Juliana before he turns to Angela. Not you, you stay. Angela's eyes harden but she only nods, and I can feel her eyes on me as we walk into Axel's office. How long has she been here? Axel asks as he closes the door and turns to us. About 10 minutes, I guess, Juliana replies and looks at me for confirmation. Long enough to brag about her orgasm against the wall, I say dryly as I cross my arms in front of my chest, and I notice how Axel pales. Juliana, Axel takes his wallet out. I'll give you $10,000 right now if you get that woman off my back. Excuse me. She gapes at him. Here, Axel takes out a platinum card and hands it over to her. Take her shopping or whatever. Just keep her occupied long enough so I can get out of town, please. You're serious? Her fingers are slightly trembling as she takes the card. Yes, Axel says adamantly. I'll transfer 10,000 into your account tonight. Use that card to entertain Angela. Okay, she beams and dashes out of the door. I can explain, Axel looks at me pleadingly. It's not how it sounds like. Please don't, I hold my hand up and close my eyes for a moment before I look at him. I don't think I'm ready to hear it, Axel. This day started so good, I don't want to ruin it. Lyanna, I didn't sleep with her, I swear, he continues, and I can hear the desperation in his voice. I believe you, I plaster a smile on my face. But I'm on the verge of losing my shit, Axel. I need a moment to calm down before you tell me your version of pinning her against the wall while you pleasure her. And it was so hot. Her words, not mine. But what about us? Axel calls as I walk to the door. What about us? I frown as I turn around. We had plans, he walks towards me. I made reservations. Axel, if you think that I'm going to allow that bitch to ruin my day, you should think again, I say determinedly. She nearly killed me, and I had to lose everything to finally grow up and learn what's important. You might not have marked me, but I'm committed to us. So, you're not mad? He asks cautiously. I'm not mad, I look him in the eyes. I'm furious. But I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt because you're my mate and she's certifiable. So, I'm going to walk out of here to the coffee shop across the street. I'm going to order a delicious slice of cheesecake and I'm going to eat it with a spoon. Because if they give me a fork, I might stab Angela in the eye. I love you, Axel says softly. I love you too, I turn around and leave the office with long strides. The rest of the audiobook will be continued in the next episode. Join us on Patreon for early access or more great audiobooks. A link is provided in the video description.